За эрхэм ламтан доржлам лавн хинлэ орсон олон хуург номын олон мэрэгд ноёд татагтай нараа. Ёоны өмнө бурхны шишний их хэлэгний яс ялангуяа очиг дэлгний яс хэрүүгээ дэлгэсэн Бутаны хаан тулсад зохиогдож буй очиг дэлгний ясны уламжлал ба шинжил сэдвт олон улсын эрдэм шинжилгээний байгууллагаар засаж оролцох ховор цашааныг хувь тохиосон миний ихэд бэлгшин баярлж байгаа. Бутаны бурхны шишний төв болон Бутан судлалын төвд илэрхийлэхийг хүсэж байна. Энэхүү хурлыг анхнаасаа итгүүлэн санаачилж амжилттай эхлүүлж байгаа холбогдох ажлын албанд Монголын бурхны шишний төв Gandan Tegchenling хийдийн хувргууд болон сүсгтэн олны өмнөөс болон хувьяасаа баяр хүргэж цаашдын их үйлс үргэлж шинийн сарн метар бидэн дэлгэрч байхын үлзий сайхан ерөөлийг алга хамттан дэвшүүлье. Түүнчлэн сүсгтэн та бүхэнд талархыг илэрхийлж байна.
Your Eminence, Dorje Loban Kenle, Your Eminence Lama Lobsang, most venerables, eminent scholars, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm extremely happy to have come to the Kingdom of Bhutan, the land where the Vajrayana tradition spread in its full pattern, for attending the international conference titled The Tradition and Innovation in the Vajrayana Tradition, organized by the Central Monastic Body and the Center of Bhutan Study. On behalf of the monastic community of Gandan Tegchenling Monastery, the Center of Mongolian Buddhists and Mongolian devotees, and myself, I solemnly congratulate the organizing committee of this international conference for the initiative and implementation that has brought everything this far. I wish you the best of luck in your further endeavors with putting my palms together. Also, I wish to thank everyone who is making this conference very important with his or her presence today. Here, I wish to emphasize that the two countries, Mongolia and the Kingdom of Bhutan, established the diplomatic relations in 2012. So please kindly let me deliver my very brief presentation. According to the Shakyamuni Buddha's prophecy, my Dharma will spread north to the further north. Buddhism was introduced to the territories of the Mongols via the Silk Road 2,000 years ago. There are certain archaeological evidences found, like a stupa of Kirlimbar city, an ancient city, and the Buddha images with Sanskrit scripts of the Gandhara style. We divide the introduction of Buddhism into three periods: ancient, middle, and later. The ancient spread of Buddhism was based on the Sutra tradition, but the middle spread, going back to the 13th century, consisted of both the Sutric and Tantric traditions. Many highly qualified Buddhist masters of Sakya and Kagyu traditions were invited by the Chinggis Khan's direct successors from the land of Snow Mountain to the great Mongolian state for spreading the Buddha Dharma. Some of them were enthroned as the state tutors by Mongolian kings. From this period, Mongolian scholars supported by the Dharma kings began translating Sutric and Tantric texts such as Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, Bodhicharya Avavatara, Manzoshiri Nama Samagati, Pancharaksha, and so on into their own language. The later spread goes back to the 16th century. When the Gelugpa tradition began spreading in Mongolia, the education system of the Nalanda University was introduced to Mongolia in its full pattern. The founder of the latter spread and the introduction of the 5 minor and 5 major subjects of Buddhism is the spiritual head of Mongolian Buddhism, His Holiness Janana Vajra or Zanbazar, the first incarnation of the Jebsundamba lineage of Mongolia. Also, there were many highly recognized Mongolian scholars or monks like Ngawang Baldan Dorje, Khalkha Damsak Dorje, and so on, whose works on the Tantric tradition have been studied as one of the most comprehensive and important texts in other countries. The uniqueness of the latter spread is Buddhism was adopted by the whole nation for the time being. Therefore, Mongolia became a 100% Buddhist country at the earliest of the 20th century. But due to the communist purge in 1930s, this profound Buddhist system developed and inherited century to century almost entirely disappeared. 17,000 highly educated and selected Buddhist monks, tulkus, were brutally executed, and approximately 1,500 Buddhist monasteries and temples were completely destroyed, together with the tangible and intangible heritage. Fortunately, the current monastery, Gandan Tegchenling Monastery, was reopened due to certain reasons and began its religious functions under strict supervision of the communist regime of that time. It became the only Buddhist temple running religious functions in Mongolia. And after the dramatic democratic change in politics in 1990, the fact that the religious freedom was granted by the National Constitution of Mongolia became the very foundation of reviving Buddhism. In order to revive the long-lost Buddhist education system, we have been paying significance by training our many hundreds of young monks in and outside Mongolia, particularly in India. Although the religious freedom was obtained, there are many foreign or various religious sects targeting Mongolia in the name of human rights. It is because there was a gap in the national security policy of the nation that newly transited from the former communist system to the new democratic system. My wish is that traditionally Buddhist Asian countries choosing the democratic system must pay serious attention to their own tradition and religion that shapes and strengthens their national identities. We Mongolian Buddhists have been doing many things in order to plant Buddhism as the national immunity in the minds of people. At the same time, we've been paying significant attention to certain circles of human lifespan, giving a name to a newborn baby, cutting hair of children, moving into a new house, wedding and funeral ceremonies. Paying attention to this is very helpful to direct social relations and people's psychology to Buddhism. There are many similarities between Mongolia and the Kingdom of Bhutan. For example, each of us has a small population, and Buddhism is very influential in both countries. Also, there are many similar challenges too. How to combine the democracy and tradition in the new millennium. How to inherit this policy to the later generations. How to decide religious issues independently. How to estimate an outsider's interference and how to react in response. Therefore, in my opinion, there is a crucial need for us to learn from each other and to work together on many issues in the future. As Buddhist practitioners, we could send our monks to the Kingdom of Bhutan on exchange programs for learning from the experience of Buddhist institutions of Bhutan. We know that the Kingdom of Bhutan is one of the very few countries where the Vajrayana tradition hasn't been broken since its establishment.
Төгсгөлд нь найсаг Бутанчууд та бидний зочломтойс та бүхний зочломтой сайхан зам талархаж байна. Бурхны шашны үн цэнийг олон зууны турш таньж мэдсэн ойлгох ухаан дээр суурилсан үндэсний аз жаргалыг тэн та бүгдээс би мэдэрч байна. Мөн та бүгдийг дэлхийн ертөнцийн сонор төргөж буй шүтэн барилгыг бодиттой ухаарсан мэдл буюу хүрээлэн буй орчинтойгоо зөв зохистой харьцдаг харьцаагч нь багтан харж байна. Тэгээд анхаарал тавьсан та бүхэндээ баярлалаа. Бодийн дээд эрдний сэтгэл төрөөгөн нэгэнд нь төрөх болтугай. Төрсөн нэгэнд нь стройтож улам бүр өөдөө аривдан дэлгэрэх болтугай.
Finally, I thank you, the Kingdom of Bhutan, for your warm hospitality. I feel the gross national happiness that has been century to century built based on the genuine Buddhist values, and I admire your eco-friendly attitude, the right understanding of interdependence that is bringing you to the international recognition. Thank you very much for your kind attention. May bodhicitta, precious and sublime, arise where it hasn't yet come to be, and where it has arisen, may it never fail, but grow and flourish even more.